Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the last week of December of the year of 2023, and I'm talking about December 22nd through the 31st. So before I get going, I want to remind everyone to sign up for my new Patreon page where you will get so many discounts on classes, on books, on my magazine. I mean, the list goes on and on, even discounts on my jewelry, my spiritual jewelry. So go to Patreon, Joni Patry. There's a link right down below. You can click on it and just see what's offered and see if you would like to join, because I know you would be very happy with the membership. We all come together with the same like causes of spirituality and astrology. So I hope I'll see you there. So let's move on and look at what is happening for the very last week of December. So starting with December 22nd. Yes, December 22nd. We have the moon with Jupiter, and it is in Aries, but it's in the nakshatra Bharani. So most of the day is going to be in Bharani. And that nakshatra deals with major breakthroughs. It means there is change that's going to be happening, and quite unexpectedly, because the moon is with Uranus. And I'm just sitting up here looking at the chart, and we have the moon wedged between Jupiter, Uranus, and this will deal with just unexpected things this day and breakthroughs. Now, the moon is also opposing Venus. Venus is still in Libra, and this is an interesting day for love, romance, coming together with friends, very social while Venus is still in Libra, and the moon's being aspected by two benefics, Jupiter and Venus, but Uranus makes it this kind of exciting quality. So this can be a very interesting day. Now, Mercury is still retrograde, and on this day, it is exactly conjunct the sun. So in other words, this is what we call an inferior conjunction, because when Mercury is retrograde, it's on the inside of the sun instead of the outside, the superior conjunction. This is the inferior conjunction that happens only when Mercury's retrograde. So this means the sun and Mercury come together as one. It's actually a Cassimi. It's not just combust, because combustions mean, a planet's burnt. But this one means actually this one day. It's a day that things really come up that are relevant concerning learning, communications, everything to do in this area. You're going to find is going to be an extreme, a big extreme. And I think there's going to be some new awakenings that are coming about today. And it is a very interesting day. It's a little confusing just because the Mercury sun with Mercury retrograde. Feelings change. People change. This is a day of radical shifts and changes. But with the moon in Aries, you remember it's about something new coming about, that you want to do something new and exciting in your life. Now, one thing I will point out about this day too is that the moon is waxing. It's a bright moon. It's actually increasing in light. So moving forward, even though Mercury retrograde is the thing to do, even though there's going to be some uncertain predicaments, and it's time to move forward on projects, I believe, that you probably already started, because there's this air of unpredictability going on with Uranus. So expect this day to be a day of moving forward, exciting events, love and romance, social events, but still there's something about this day that I wouldn't start brand new projects or start businesses, but finishing through projects you've already started, this is what it's best for. So expect the sudden and unexpected today. So December 23rd, let's move this forward a day and let's see what's happening. Because December 23rd, we have an unusual aspect. Venus is in a quincunx with Rahu. So there's this just unforeseen, unusual quality dealing with relationships and love. It's just from yesterday to today, things change pretty radically. And the moon, let's see here, is going to shift. It's almost in Taurus, not quite. It will change into Taurus sometime today. The moon changes 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. The moon will change into Taurus. So this will make things a little bit more peaceful and flow easier, because with the moon being in its exaltation sign, it's more at home. But still, be careful of things behind the scenes, because we've got Jupiter with being 12th from where the moon is. And the 12th house means things that you can't see. Things are hidden, but we're coming upon right before the full moon. If there's something like you want to put your house on the market, even though Mercury's retrograde, when the moon is waxing, it is a great time for this, especially since we have the moon being in Taurus, its exaltation sign. It's actually not so bad. But the moon will change nakshatras early in the morning from Bharani into Kritika on the 23rd. So this is 9:50 a.m. The moon changes into Kritika. And Kritika, by the way, is the nakshatra that can deal with sharp, cutting, difficult events. So Kritika is unpredictable, especially around the time that the moon is in Kritika, but from 9 till 4 before the moon moves into Taurus. So be aware that once the moon goes into Taurus, things will go smoother and more peaceful, and that's around 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. But throughout the day, the moon is in the nakshatra Kritika, which means sharp cutting. It's actually a good nakshatra, believe it or not, for surgeries, because it deals with the knife and getting to the core and the bottom of things. Although it's best to avoid such things while Mercury's retrograde. But Mercury retrograde is not the worst of all evils. It is actually the moon that you want to find in a good placement. Let's progress to December 24th, where the moon will be in Taurus and Rahu will be in a trine aspect to Mars, which is rough because this can mean, this is like a Mars-Rahu conjunction when Rahu aspects Mars. So this is intense, and this can deal with fighting, violence, disruption, most of all, anger. So watch what you do and what you say today. Don't get riled up too easy. Chances are you will. Just contain it and you'll be okay, because this aspect doesn't last that long. It lasts for a couple of days. But on the 24th at 9:50 a.m., the moon will enter into Rohini. And Rohini is the best nakshatra for the moon. So this comes just in time for those that celebrate the Christmas holidays, that the moon is entering into a much nicer place. Rohini actually deals with anything to do with the senses. It's very sensual. So it's a good time to have parties, to eat, to celebrate, to give gifts. This is a great moon placement, Rohini. And it will lighten up things. Now, the moon being in Taurus, Mars is going to be opposing it. So be careful once again not to say the wrong thing at the wrong time. So be cognizant. You will get riled up a little bit with the Mars still being in Scorpio, in Jesta, and it's opposing the moon. So there's a lot that could make you angry, and there's a lot of things that may come out of the blue that may be a lot of secretive, underhanded events can be going on with foul play. So be aware of what's happening. Major plots, I think, may be coming into being that are undermining those in power, leaders of countries. Watch how that's happening in the big picture. Now, another thing to be concerned and aware of is by December 24th through the 31st, Mars is Gandanta in Scorpio. As it moves from Scorpio to Sagittarius, it will be Gandanta, because remember, Gandanta is when a planet is the last few degrees of water and the first few degrees of fire. And this makes Mars out of control. Mars deals with anger and hostility. So Mars is causing big problems again through the end of the year that could be associated with violence. But after that, into around the first of the year, we will have so much more peace. The holidays will be over with and all the threats will be over with. So let's talk about December 25th. Venus will enter Scorpio. So we lost the beauty of Venus being in Libra. But Venus in Scorpio can make love affairs more intense, more passionate. But it's not as easy as when Venus was in Libra. And I'm quite glad Venus was in Libra for most of December with all of the social events that occur. But at 10:30 a.m. on December 25th, the moon will move into the nakshatra Mrigashira. And while it is in Mrigashira, it will be aspected by Mars. And Mars is creating a lot of problems, uncivilized actions by others, and violence again. So people are just on edge. That's really what I'm trying to say. But also the moon will be moving into Gemini. The moon moves into Gemini, let's see, at 10:30 p.m. I know it moved into the nakshatra Mrigashira 10:30 a.m. That nakshatra is about searching and seeking. So you're going to find people very inquisitive and searching for answers. It's not a bad thing. It's just what's going on. And by the time of 10:30 p.m., when the moon goes into Gemini, people open up. They're more communicative. They're more interested in what you have to say. And they're more talkative. But Mercury is still retrograde. And the financial world will be looking up. As we look at the moon being in Gemini, we have Jupiter in the 11th house from where the moon's placed. And this makes the economy much, much better. So I'm going to say that, even though it looks like the economy should be doing bad, there's a lot of people spending a lot of money still. There's a lot of money out there, let's put it that way. But I get that there's going to be good things happening in the financial world, especially, I guess, with all the buying that happens around Christmas Day. Now, looking at also the 25th, we have Venus in an exact trine with Neptune. This can make this day dreamy and where people are in their fantasy world. And that's okay, because this is a holiday for most people. People can relax and enjoy and rest and overdo, as most people do on holidays. It's the time to give great thanks and be joyful. This what Venus trine Neptune can deal with, giving love and affection. And it's also good for the media. Happy things going on in the news. People are jovial and looking for the good things. It's a good day to express your creative urges. Be creative, be inventive, and enjoy other people. It's a time to celebrate, because we're almost through the worst part of this year. So let's talk about December 26th. There is a full moon on this day. And with this full moon, you're going to find that the moon will go into the nakshatra at the full moon, Ardra. And even though this is a bright full moon in Gemini and people are all about conversation, coming together, communicating, there's still a little bit of sadness that permeates the air with this nakshatra. Because don't forget, Ardra's symbol is a teardrop. So there's something about the overall feeling of sadness of what we've come through and what we've experienced. But this holiday season should overall be a success for financial success, for probably retail. Things are going to be okay. We're not going to be in the big depression that everyone talks about. So we don't understand why, but people are still out there spending money. So December 26th through the 27th, Mercury is retrograde and it's squaring Neptune. So this can add to people not being able to make up their mind, and people are distrusting, because you know that Neptune deals with deception. And many will be talking about the possibility that the governments are not being honest, especially when talking probably about the economy. Just like many times they scared us with many things about the virus and all of that, now they're using money to scare us. So one way or another, whether they're lying about how good we're doing or how bad we're doing, it's all part of the scheme, I believe, that the media has to control the masses. So let's look now at December 27th. December 27th, the moon will still be in Gemini all day, and it's going to be in the nakshatra Purnavasu. And Purnavasu will bring an elevation to the mood, especially after being in Ardra. Purnavasu means return of the light. And this means people are starting to come back from so much that the world problems with war and money and economy and leaders. We're starting to see the light again with Purnavasu. It brings back the hope and the dreams that we all had. Now, what's interesting around this time, though, is that Mars and Mercury will cross over each other. Mars moves into Sagittarius, and Mercury moves back into Scorpio, because remember, it's retrograde. So they will be conjunct, and both will be Gandanta. So people are still not totally with it. Mercury's going to be direct soon, so be aware. But there's a lot of tension in the air. But most of all, when we talk about Mercury and Mars together, we talk about arguments or people having to be right in arguments. Be aware that arguments will be intense. So avoid staying out of debates or arguments, because you're never going to win. No matter if you have everything right, you can't win with the people that you're arguing with. So stay out of arguments around this time. There's contention with communications. So let's move to December 28th. This is when Mars will finally move out of Scorpio and move into Sagittarius. But it is still Gandanta, being at the very first degrees of a fire sign. But the energy does change. It becomes more into righteousness, out of control righteousness, and need to be right, justification, because that's what Sag is all about. Put Mars there. People have to be right about things. So 7 a.m., the moon enters into Cancer. And this is great for business-minded people because now we have Jupiter in the 10th house from where the moon sits in Cancer. And it's in Purnavasu for half of the day, and then it will be in Pusha Nakshatra by 1:40 p.m. Central Standard Time. And both of these nakshatras are excellent nakshatras for the moon to be in. One is bringing the light in and hope, and the other one is giving protection and nourishment. So the moon is in a beautiful place while it's in Cancer. And Jupiter goes to the 10th from the moon, representing career success, moving forward with the economy and things of that nature. But Venus and Mercury are now together in Scorpio, and they're in the 5th house from the moon. So this is a wonderful time for creative ventures and entrepreneurship. So ideas about businesses and starting over, it's a time to start thinking about it and making good plans. So, but Mercury is still Gandanta. It will be 29 degrees Scorpio on the 28th of December. So people are thinking over the top extremes. Let's go to December 29th. December 29th, the moon will enter the nakshatra Aslesha. And this is a very business-oriented nakshatra. It means business. It's the businessman. They're going to get what they want. It's very controlling, so don't let others control you. You make sure you're in the driver's seat. Jupiter is strong, very strong at this time because it is stationed. It is about to move direct by the 31st. So standing still, Jupiter is strong, it's elevated, it's going to bring luck to many people, and it feels really good because it's aspecting the sun. We're seeing the light finally is coming about. So many things going on at this time. There's good, there's indifferent, but most of all, with the moon being in Aslesha, I think the financial markets are going to be doing quite well. Now let's talk about December 30th. So 6 p.m., this is almost finished when the day's finished, the moon will enter Leo in the nakshatra Magha. So basically most of the 30th, December 30th, the moon will remain in Cancer, in Aslesha till 6 p.m. And that's all about business, getting things done. It's a good time. There really are good things going on in the world. A lot of work is getting done. And I think a lot of people are sick of the war and they're moving forward. So by 6 p.m. on the 30th, the moon will move into Leo. And so basically, December 30th, it's time to stay home. And look at new projects that can be done around the home. Especially, let's move forward now to December 31st, because December 31st is when Jupiter turns direct at 11 degrees of Aries, and it will turn direct by 10 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now, the moon will be in Leo all day, and it will be in the nakshatra Magha till, let's see, it's going to change into Purva Falguni by the afternoon. By evening, not till evening. It will be 9:30 p.m. on December 31st that the moon moves into Purva Falguni, and I call this the party nakshatra. So guess what? It is New Year's Eve, and we are all ready for a new year, because now we're starting to see the light. So here's my advice to you. Have a party and celebrate a better year to come. It will be better. I know we've got a lot to go through, but 2024, especially the first half, will be interesting and I think amazing. I'm predicting a great awakening for 2024. You have this opportunity to change your life, and I want you to celebrate the new year. Just don't go to real big crowded places. I don't foresee anything horrendous happening, but I'm still wanting everyone to celebrate the new year, because Purva Falguni, the moon in Leo, it's about expression, expressing yourself in a new world that's coming. So party up with your best friends and your loved ones, and let's celebrate the end of 2023 and the beginning of a new year of 2024. So with that, I think I'll close. Thank you. And we're going to have a much better year, I can assure you. Thank you.